Thank you everyone for returning to class. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. I think that even when we were teaching and practicing really regularly together, I didn't really share or talk about like what I'm now thinking of as kind of like the fourth wall, which is like technology. And I think in the last couple of weeks, it's been a really humbling experience to be with like the challenges of tech. And I think that for some of us, I know for myself, I can speak for myself, certainly really starting to experience a sense of like tech burnout. And, over the last 6 months, when I do these Dharma talks, I've been talking kind of, if we're thinking of a room, I've been talking about the lighting, and I've been talking about the furniture and the aroma and the feng shui of the room, but I haven't really talked about like the paint color of the room, which for me is like represented in technology. Like technology is like the framework and it's like the vibe of what we're doing for the last, since basically March. And that framework can be really damn hard, to be honest, really challenging. And it creates this kind of weird space between us. And it's really, I know a lot of people have been trying to talk about it, including like people that are in these high ranking positions, but there's really no way to describe it because I think it's so new for us as humans. But one way that for me, I keep thinking of this idea of like, if you needed to show up to work, and you showed up to work and you weren't in the proper attire at all, that's one thing. But if you showed up to work and you like were dressed appropriately, but then like you didn't have your assignments done and you didn't have your like cell phone, like that's another thing. But if you showed up to work and like you're dressed, you're ready to go, you have everything you need for the day, everything is Gucci, but then there's like some other magical fourth wall of things that is going to stop you from being able to be heard that day or to be able to be seen or counted. And I think that's what technology is. It's this magical fourth wall between me and you, between your teachers, your family, your coworkers, and that wasn't there before. So it's literally like a new framework of experiencing a three-dimensional world. We're thrown back into this two-dimensional space. And I think it's very weird. So I'm happy that you all, have pulled the practice back towards yourself. And same here, I have been practicing, which has been really nice, but I don't practice at 9:30 in the morning usually. So thank you for like getting me practicing earlier in the day. I tend to be like an afternoon person. I like midday practices, but it's nice to start the day this way. So I'm happy that we are deciding for ourselves that community is still something that's important to us, and we're still going to carve out the space and time to be a part of that community, even if it's totally different than what we're used to, and even if it's completely annoying and we think it's all of these things. We're still like, okay, I want to be a part of that. I still want to show up. I still want to, be counted. I still want my practice to grow. So good on you and everyone, and also, good on everyone who's not here, because it's really a journey, and you kind of have to just be where you are when you're there. With today's practice, I'm excited because I think it's going to be a nice practice to start off for the first like 15 minutes or so, kind of quiet and simple, and really give ourselves, permission to have a simple experience, like that we don't need to like pull out every trick that we've done before to like show that we've been practicing the whole time. Like you may not have practiced in 3 weeks, like that's completely fine. So let's just practice and be a little bit lethargic and let our bodies be that way. And then we'll have like maybe 15, 20 minutes in the middle where we kind of create some tempo and cadence, and we'll get the blood going, the body flowing, and be more in that typical vinyasa style. And then we'll have the last like 10 to 15 minutes to kind of land with some hip stuff, and then a shavasana or a seated meditation, whatever you choose. And again, because there's no one actually in the room with me here, but you're here with me. That's not true. So to that point, you're here with me, but I can't feel the energy of the room necessarily. So everything again is 100% suggested. But also, if you want to jazz things up, or you feel like I have more energy, or if you feel like I don't have the energy, then you can kind of play with that. So you'll have opportunities to take away and add on as we go. But I'm really excited for the practice today. We'll just need the mat, of course. But then I thought it could be nice to, if you have a block, it could be useful at some point today. But if you don't, that's fine. If you have a couch cushion or something like that, we'll use it pretty early on. So we'll decide. But let's just sit for a moment before we get going. And let's start with the throne. So go ahead and put the right shin in front of the left. I'm doing the same side as you, so it'll be a little visually different. And again, see if the legs can be a little closer together than you normally would, not a wide handlebar. And just to check in. And just notice how you're sitting. Notice if you can feel the sit bones, if one feels a little more heavy than the other. But try to keep like an updraft, like an upward lifting of the chest. If there's any intention that's calling to you, or any wish or hope or prayer, anything that you want to bring into the practice, go ahead and bring that in now. And we'll open the eyes again if they were closed. So the right shin ends in front. You're just going to bring the fingertips forward. If you have the range of motion to come onto the elbows, right, then give that a try. If you have the range of motion to maybe bend the elbows and just let the head rest, or you can put a block, right? This depends on what you have handy. Really let the head be supported here and just be with the silence of the practice and your own breath. And slowly start to come up. Let's take a gentle twist to the right. So either holding on to that knee, the left knee, or the right knee, excuse me. We're pressing the back of the wrist into it. It's going to be a pretty tame twist. But again, always that updraft of the chest, so slightly leaning back in the head. And then go ahead, let the spine come forward. Start to bring the right hand out and just reach the left arm up. I sometimes look up at the top hand if that feels good. I have a little crick in my neck, but just find something that's kind of comfortable for your neck. So you can look forward like I am toward the camera to you all, or you can look down or somewhere in between. Maybe it's more of a dynamic. And then go ahead and come on up. Let's change the crossing of the legs. I'm going through the middle for a moment. Let's bring the left shin in front. And again, just walk the hands forward, either onto your elbows or just the fingertips. If it felt nice on the other side, maybe you can actually let the head rest on the palms or some variation of that. And of course, we're feeling what's happening in the stretch and in the hips, but our focus in this early part of the class isn't really, all that minutia. It's not like so much about the muscles at this moment. It's really about the tone. So the kind of theme of the class is really tone, inner tone, and working with burnout if you feel like you have burnout. And then slowly come on up. Take a twist to the left here. Again, kind of lifting the chest. We're not really manipulating the breath too much. We're just letting it do its thing. And then come back through center. Bring the left hand out to the side. You can bend the elbow depending on your range of motion, or keep it straight. Reach the right arm up. And just find somewhere that feels good for your neck without letting it completely sag. Soften the fingers and the face. Okay, go ahead and come on up. From here, bring the feet together. Jeez, skin is starting to dry out. Okay, bring the feet together in Buuut Konasana. Just for a moment. And then we're going to extend the right leg out to the side. So yeah, I'm doing the same side, so I apologize if the mirroring isn't there. So the right leg is out to the side. And this doesn't have to be the deepest, like Janu Sirsasana ever. We're not going to go to the extended leg. We're just going to go forward. So again, bring the fingertips forward. This might be good and plenty for some of us. We might even have to bend this right leg if it's still too much. Right? So I would do that. And then just see if you can creep a little forward. If you have a block, you might be able to slide that there, or a couch cushion or something. And rest forward. And so we're just setting the tone for the class. We're just listening to that the inner tone, not so much the outer tone of a yoga practice, which yoga a lot of the times is still very performative. It is still like how to be strong, or how to be more flexible, how to be more happy, or, you know, and so there's this like stress of having to keep going further. And it's nice to at least take a big chunk of the first part of the class to really just throw that all out. Go ahead and come up from that if you have to block, whatever, move it off to the side. And we're going to take a little twist to the left. It won't be the biggest twist ever, and we really kind of shouldn't be. You just want to give a little opening to the left here. Breathing into that left side of the chest. Again, a big updraft of the chest, grounding down through the lower body. Let everything unfurl. You can bring the right hand down to grab the leg, or you can let it elbow rest. Again, range of motion is different for everybody. And then we'll start to just lean toward the straight leg. And this could be a nice variation. You can bend the top elbow and just hold the back of your head somewhere, or like the far side of the ear. Find a place where you can hook, and then let the head really relax a little bit. Big stretch for the left side of the body. And go ahead and come on up. Grab behind the right knee. Go ahead and fold it in. Come back to Buuut Konasana. And let's bring it over to the other side. So Janu Sirsasana. On this side, again, bend that left knee if you need to, and then just come straight forward. I'm just generally tighter on the left, so I'm really going to have to bend that leg, or maybe even slide a block under there to sustain it. And so we're just going with the mood, letting ourselves be a little lazy and lethargic. Go ahead and come on up. Take a twist to the right leg. Really easy, soft. Again, just push the back of the head back in space. I even have a hard time kind of remembering that. Sometimes I just kind of kind of want to crank the twist like that and get low. But you can kind of damage the spine if you do that too much. So just lift, create some space. And then go ahead and come back through center. And then we're just going to lean to the extended leg, high, medium, or low. Reach the right arm up. If you like that variation, bending the elbow, finding the head either behind the neck area or kind of going above, like a pair of headphones, kind of wrapping at the top of the skull, old school headphones. Let the neck go. And then slowly go ahead and come on up. Excuse me, I'm a little tickled today. I'm going to come back to Buuut just for one breath. And then we'll go ahead and close this off. Start to make your way to hands and knees. Do any micro adjustments. I'm going to adjust my clothes, always a good time. Okay. And come into your plank pose. And I just want to say that plank can be this. This can be plank for folks if you have carpal tunnel or the arm strength isn't there yet, right? This can be plank like this. This can be plank, classic plank, right? Down dog could be plank, right? All these are arm balances and arm strength, strengthening poses. So, always know that you can kind of taper down. So come into your plank for a moment. And then exhale, come back to downward dog. So now we're just going to kind of move the body a couple of times, maybe 5 or 10 times in this fashion to kind of pump the body and kind of get the heat going. So just going to inhale, coming forward to plank, your plank. Exhale, back down dog. So moving on your own 5 to 10 times. You can be as soft and everything can be kind of bent and slow, or things can be a kind of angular, if that's your jam this morning. Just heating the body up. And then we'll meet back in the downward dog. Keep pulling the breath in and out, pulling and pushing it out. On the next exhale, step the right foot forward between the hands. Okay? And then either using your blocks or stay up on your fingertips. I think it's a really, really good practice. I've been seeing a difference with my wrist. If you press down to the tips of your fingers, if you don't have long fingernails, you can pull it off. But pressing to the really tip parts of your fingers and keeping that strong hand. Okay? And look forward here. On the exhale, we're just going to lower the back knee down and then lift it back up. Just 3 to 5 times like that. The chest is looking or lifting up and the face is looking forward. And then go ahead, keep the back knee down if you need to, and then step back to the downward dog or step back from downward dog from that lift knee. On the next exhale, step the left foot forward. And again, lift the chest, lift the gaze, come onto the tip parts of your fingers. Strong digits, extremities. On the exhale, lower the back knee and then lift it up again. Just 3 to 5 good quality moves like that. Either keep the back knee down or just step on back, down dog. On your next inhale, come forward to plank. Then exhale, lower the knees down and then come onto your elbows. So it's just like a tabletop position here, but you're on your forearms instead. And from here, we're just going to start to roll things so that your hips come down first, and then slowly the chest kind of lifts, and you're in a Sphinx pose. So I will say this, the first time I kind of did this little sequence, I was like, man, that kind of hurts my back. But then I was able to slow it down, and I was actually able to find like a lot of opening and strength. So I want to just encourage you to go slower than you think you should go on these next couple of moves. So we're in Sphinx here. Moving forward. Legs are zipped up, and you're really pressing the forearms down. Good. On the exhale, you're going to start to lift the hips up and the low tummy up first, going slower than you think. And coming here, and then maybe looking toward the knees. So a little bit of an archway, like a bridge in the back. On the next inhale, nice and slow, start to descend everything, especially the hips slowly. As you breathe in, let the chest lift, back to Sphinx. Yeah, just 2 more times like that. Exhale, cinching the waist, nice and slow. Find that wherever the core is weak, you're gonna feel, like, ooh, yeah, that was the place where I kind of gave out or wasn't able to be slow or smooth there. When you're ready, slowly come back. Really gentle. Let's do 1 more together. Making the adjustments. Try to see if both sides of the abdominal wall, the right and the left and the front, can work evenly. Sometimes one side of the abs is stronger than the other, and then conversely, the back is the other way. Kind of move like an X sometimes. And then let's slowly go ahead and lower. Okay. So now we're back in our Sphinx pose. Bring the hands behind you, or back in line underneath your shoulders. Inhale, push up with strong arms. Exhale, back, down dog. Give yourself a moment or so in this shape. And then from here, we're not going to do the leg lift and then swing it through because I don't want us to just use momentum to bring the leg forward today. So instead, take an inhale and then exhale. See if you can step the right foot forward. And coming into a high lunge, looking forward for a moment. And on the exhale, kind of pin back a little bit and then step forward. The left foot meets the right. Fold over the legs. On the inhale, long, flat back, look forward. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, a little back bend, firm the glutes. Exhale, hands to your heart. And adjust the camera just a little bit so I don't lose you completely on those up ones. Okay. Then bring the hands to the heart. On the exhale, we'll catch up again. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, long, flat back. Shoulders kind of are at the height of the hips, so sometimes you can go higher. On the exhale, step the right leg back. Stay here, come onto the tip fingers. Look forward. Exhale, back to your downward dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Firm the legs up here, little smile lines under the butt here. And on the exhale, lower down. Come forward into that Sphinx pose here. Looking forward. We're going to zip the legs up on the exhale. Same deal, nice and slow. Inhale, slowly coming back. Trust the breath. The breath is going to guide your spine along that one. Just 1 more time like that. On the exhale. On the inhale, come back to Sphinx. This time, bring the hands back And let's do a low cobra. So the hands can stay on the floor or they can kind of lift and hover. Now let the hands come down. Inhale, peel everything up. Exhale, back, down dog. Inhale. Good. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, long, flat back, look forward. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. So now we're kind of starting some tempo. We're going to keep this going for a little while. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, left leg back. Stay here for the exhale. And the next inhale. On the next exhale, step back, down dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, lower down. This time come right into low cobra. Lifting up, stay here for another breath. Inhale, a little bit higher. With an exhale, push through the arms, down dog. Big breath in. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, look forward, stay here. Exhale, step to the top. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, fold in half. You can keep the knees bent the whole practice today, right? Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, right step back. Good. Exhale, step right back to down dog. Inhale, forward to your plank pose. Exhale, lower down onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back, down dog. Inhale. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. So this is that time where we're not feeling lazy. We're kind of feeling a little bit energized and deciding if we want a little more heat. Maybe there's a spark of life for finally. Inhale, arms up. Good. On the exhale, fold. Left side this time. Inhale, long, flat back first. Exhale, left step back. Stay here for an inhale. Exhale, downward dog. So if you feel like you have that spark, then maybe take a chaturanga instead of just lowering down. But if you still feel like I don't, then maybe you just kind of wait in downward dog, or you just take child's pose. And so again, finding that inner tone of your practice. If we're back in downward dog here, we're going to step the left foot forward on the exhale. Stay here for the inhale, looking forward. And then exhale, back foot folds or comes forward, fold. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to if the hamstrings are still tight. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good, again, just gonna add on a little bit. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Right leg back on the inhale. Stay here for an exhale. On the inhale, let's come up to a high lunge or crescent lunge. And just take a moment here in this pose to see what it feels like to be upright with the legs this way and that. Soften the knees here. Feel a little bouncy. So again, today's practice is not about like, we don't need any tricks or any novelty today. Today is like simple, back to the basics, and that's good and plenty, right? So just bending here. On the inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale, bend both legs. Just like that, 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Next inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands down. Go ahead and step back to your downward dog. On the inhale, come forward to your plank pose. Exhale, lower down, your choice, your versions. Inhale. Exhale, coming back, down dog. Wait for your next exhale to step the right foot forward. Inhale, come back up to that high lunge, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands down, step forward. Knees can stay bent or long, flat back. With bent knees, exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, melt over the legs. Inhale, giant left step back. Stay here for the exhale. We're going to stand in a moment. Bend the knees, come on up for that crescent lunge. And you can drop the arms if that feels too much to be kind of like in this very statuesque pose. And then just play for a few breaths for the bending and straightening. And then on the next exhale, see if you can bend both knees. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. So here's a moment where you can kind of add or take away. You can bend less, right? You can let the arms do some stuff while you're doing this if you feel like you have more reserves. Great, and then we'll just go ahead, reach the arms up. And exhale, hands down, step on back to your downward dog. Inhale, come forward to your plank. Exhale, lower down either halfway. Inhale, low cobra or upward. Exhale, back, down dog. Take 5 breaths here in your downward dog. I think, it's great to be able to, this is like a great time for us to be practicing in this way because it's kind of exciting for me as a teacher to be able to have these templates of a class and then be able to pass the baton on to you as the students to really jazz up your practice. So I'm very happy about that part of the tech world and the Zoom experience. That really only works if we take advantage of it as students and really kind of bring ourselves to the practice. Maybe just one more breath or half breath here, wherever you are. On the next exhale, step the left foot forward. Inhale, come on up to that high lunge. Your arms are up or not. And exhale, hands down, step forward. Inhale, long, flat back, look forward. Exhale, fold in half. Soften the knees as much as you need to. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. I'm going to check my time. Okay, cool. All right, we'll do one more and then we'll kind of bring in some more standing things. So inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive over the legs. Inhale, take a big right step back. Stay here for the exhale. On the next inhale, soften the knees, come on up to that high lunge. Just one time with this. Exhale, hands down, downward dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Either skip all of this and just come into child's pose until I'm going to do that, until we come back to downward dog. So give yourself a few moments to move through your own vinyasa. Once we're in downward dog, on the next exhale, step the right foot forward. On the inhale, come up to a high lunge. And then we're going to stay up as we spin the back heel down into your warrior two. So take a moment here just to check your alignment, right? Again, today's practice is not super, alignment based. It's really more of a tone thing and a vibe, but you do want to be safe and make sure that you're in the pose relatively correctly for your body. All right. Add the arms if you like. So how can you be in this pose and do just enough, you know, where you're engaging, but nothing more? Less posturing, a little more softening. And then take a big breath in. On the next exhale, start to straighten the right leg. This is when the block could be handy. Of course, mine is behind me now. If you have a block or something, or a stool or something like that, you can have it there. Sorry, on the next exhale, though, we're going to just come into our triangle pose. So reaching forward, and then letting the hand push into the back of the shin or onto a block underneath the shoulder. Good. Stay here for around the breath. Finding something that makes sense for your neck. So again, maybe looking down. On the next exhale, bend the right knee, extended side angle. So extended side angle could be hand still on block, hand on floor, outside of the foot, or you can rest onto that thigh. Don't worry, we'll have another round of that. Good. On the next inhale, reach the left arm back to your warrior two. You need to kind of straighten to reset the hips. Please do. Good. Again, inhale here, warrior two. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, triangle pose. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, warrior two. One more time. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, triangle pose. Exhale, extended side angle. Bend the right knee. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, look down. Go ahead and bring the hands down. Spin the back heel up. You can lower the back knee down first and then step back, or just step right back to your downward dog. Either skip the vinyasa, right? But again, if you feel like the pilot light is on, go ahead and do that vinyasa. From the downward dog here, go ahead on the exhale, step the right foot forward. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, long, flat back, look up. Exhale, fold back. Inhale, come all the way up, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, big left step back here. Inhale, or exhale, stay here. Inhale, and then exhale, actually step the back foot forward again. Inhale, right step back. Stay here. Then on your next inhale, come on up to stand. Went on autopilot there. Okay, so once we're here in this high lunge shape for a moment, then we're gonna stand the back heel down and turn this way so I can see you all. So coming into warrior two on the left side, the left foot forward rather. Allow yourself to kind of crawl around in the space, a little wiggle here, and then have a bit of stillness for a breath or so. Next, inhale. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Triangle pose. Block is behind me. Okay. Stay in triangle pose for a couple of breaths. Again, playing with the neck, looking down, looking up. On the next exhale, bend the left knee, extended side angle. On the next inhale, back to your warrior two. You need to straighten everything just to reset the pelvis. Exhale. Inhale together. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, triangle pose. Exhale, bend the left knee, extended side angle. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, triangle pose. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, warrior two. I'm going to do like one more here. I think it's inhale, warrior two. Last time, exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, triangle pose. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, hands come down, send your back heel up. Either lower the right knee down and step back, or just step back. Take 5 breaths in your downward dog or child's pose, or you can move through a vinyasa. You're in downward dog still, or if you're moving through your vinyasa, let's all meet in downward dog for a few breaths together. Okay. So now we're kind of entering that, landing zone portion of class, where the energy is going to start to go down, but we're not necessarily going to like stop the effort. We're still going to keep that dimmer switch on, and we're going to keep the level of focus on, but we're just going to kind of ease off maybe the muscular engagement a little bit more. And again, get back into the tone that we had at the beginning. So take a breath or so more. And if you're in child's pose, let the knees be pretty wide as the mat, and the big toes together. Allowing there's a broadness to the low back here, hopefully in the sacrum. And then just move a little bit side to side. Sometimes the hips can be really wooden feeling. So the movement just kind of reminds you that you're alive. Okay. And come back up here. Come into your tabletop again here. On the next inhale, let's just look forward, tuck the toes. On the exhale, back to your downward dog. Inhale together. Then an exhale, step the right foot forward. And then start to turn your toes to the same direction. So you're going to turn your toes. For me, I'm going to turn them toward the camera here. And you just want to make sure that you're kind of equidistant away from the long side of your mat. That's a good way to measure yourself. I'm going to want a diagonal, so let me actually just change that. Might be easier for you. Okay, so the hands can be right underneath the shoulders, okay, and right on the fingertips. We're going to offer some upside down options. There's 3 things, but this is one of them. Prasarita Padasana, the head is below the pelvis, below the heart. So it's a nice inversion. If you would like, if it feels good to let my head come down and maybe rest on the floor or a block, then give it a try. But if it feels like it's a complete distraction and now you're like in some sort of purgatory, don't do it. And if you're not there at all, just stay in that first version with the fingertips on blocks maybe, or a stool. Wherever you are in this pose, see if you can slightly lift your toes and lift the inner arches of the feet. Just to make sure your ankles aren't dropping in. And then hopefully the knees aren't dropping in too much. So the inner thighs are lifting away from the ground. And then we'll slowly go ahead and come out. If your head was down, here, I need you later. Okay, good. And so from here, we'll go ahead and turn the right toes back to the right, lower the left knee down, step on back. And so I've been practicing with some of you for years and some of you for a couple of weeks, like 10 things new and that kind of thing. So I know some of you have a headstand practice, so you can go into that now. We're only going to be in this next thing for like a minute and a half, so we don't want to get too tripped out about what we're going to do. So we can either do headstand practice. If you have one of those, you can start there, or you can come into dolphin, which is a great option. So you just kind of grab, interlace your fingers here, create a little triangle, and you just tuck the toes and straighten the legs a little bit. The knees can be bent. And we can be here for about a minute, or if all of this is just not your thing today, you can be in your child's pose. And again, we're just going to be here for about a minute. So go ahead and pick one of those. Now, wherever you've chosen yourself to be, you hear my voice, which is good. Sometimes, in our practice, we feel kind of burned out, we feel tired, and then we just gas it. We just completely keep our foot on the pedal until we're even more burned out. And it feels like relaxation at first, and then it actually feels kind of diminishing. So in our practice, we want to be able to wait for the body to be ready to be energetic. And then when it's energetic, then you can kind of explore that and really tap into that. But if it's not there yet, then you just really focus on being with wherever you are. It'll serve you later, serve you probably today. And whatever variation you're in, if you're in headstand, slowly start to make your way down. If you're in dolphin, slowly start to make your way down. And we'll just meet in the child's pose here. You can kind of flare your elbows out to the side and make a little headrest for the forehead. And then go ahead and come on up to your tabletop. See how you feel here. And so I want to offer again like a very short option here for shoulder stand. Usually I don't really do, this is very unorthodox to me, shoulder stand, usually like a lot of pillows or props and all that stuff. But again, we're just going to be here for, 8 breaths or so. And we're really going for mood, less of like perfect structure. So if you have a ponytail, it's a good time to take it out. And if you've never done shoulder stand before, please don't try it today because I can't see you and I can't, adjust you. So it's very nerve-wracking for me to think about that. So if you've never done shoulder stands before, you can just come to a wall and throw the legs up, right? Or you can come to, if you don't have a wall handy, you can come to bridge pose, which is really nice and pretty much the same thing as a shoulder stand. So you work your pose here. Either interlace the hands behind you. And then take that for like 5 or 8 breaths, okay? If you're in shoulder stand, just start to make your way down through plow. If you're in your bridge pose, stay for another breath or 2 here. If you need to lower down and come back up. If you're at the wall, just stay for another round of breath. We'll meet you in a moment. Okay. Wherever you are, being kind of tender with yourself. slowly take yourself or bring yourself out of that pose. And we'll come into one more pose together, a nice little pigeon pose. So pigeon pose, we can come into it right from the hands and knees and bring one shin forward and start to slide the other leg back. If this is still too much for you, again, we haven't, this might be too much, you can always kind of kick over to a Z sit, which looks something like this. If you've had hip surgery and this still feels like a little bit much, you can do all this on your back. So you can take a figure 4. And that's literally the same. We're working the same muscle groups. And again, this is a great variation if you don't feel like you have a ton of energy, or if you don't want to expend the little energy that you do have. Okay. So picking one of those 3. Wherever you are, just let the pose be. We're not reinventing anything. We're not like setting pigeon pose on fire. We're just literally, again, doing kind of the minimum, but again, keeping that tone of quietude and kind of like an inner reflection. You're having kind of existential malaise. It's my favorite word right now. Then these kind of poses can be nice. Forward bends or just kind of introspective, personal. And if you haven't done the other side yet, you go ahead and switch. Bring the other shin in front, or if you're doing the figure 4 in your back, you go ahead and change there. If you're doing the Z sit, same deal. And even, I know that word burnout, and I hope, be with your breath as I kind of bumble on here, but sometimes that term burnout, those are like clickbait words where it's like, oh, burnout, I have burnout, or like, whatever the tag word is, or cleanse, or, detox, whatever these words are. But I think for me, it's more of if I have burnout, I want to more focus on bringing coolness and bringing like like a levity, a sense of like, what's the opposite? What's like a complement of burnout, as opposed to just being like, I need to stop everything. I can still be in action, but I need to just bring in like that cooler energy. I need to bring in a little more of an introspective energy to kind of manage the burnout and not just say, I'm like, okay, I gotta like, take all my personal days right now, or I need to like, go on some sort of sabbatical, which may be true for some of us, but we can find a medium, a middle place, a middle ground. And then we'll slowly swing whatever's happening around. We'll do one more forward fold together, and then we'll do Shavasana. So we're right on time here. So let's just do a simple Paschimottanasana. You can keep the knees bent. If the hamstrings you want to just have it be, again, kind of a little bit of a lazy forward fold, not in a pejorative way. Or you can straighten the legs. I find that oftentimes when we do feel like we're maxing out, the things that keep us grounded are the first things to go. The yoga practice is the first thing that we kind of jettison from the space. And really it's the thing that we should try to keep the longest if we can. Okay, so for the final minute or so of class, you can take a Shavasana. If the cameras were not on, I would be doing Shavasana right now, but to maintain the teacherly space, I want to kind of be able to see everyone a little more. So I'm going to sit up and you can join me, but you can also come to lie on your back for another minute and a half. And as you lie here in this waning portion of class, just allow yourself to not feel like the stress of, I need to change something, right? Just allow yourself to feel as though you're emptying. You're just emptying, right? So just if you were emptying a canister, you don't necessarily need to shake it or do any of these other tricks. You can just let the fluid leave the canister. Similar to the energy, the stress or the nervousness or the cortisol, whatever's kind of coursing through you that doesn't allow you to be with the people you love, the things that you love. Let all that just empty out here in the final moments of class. If you are lying down, you can continue to be in Shavasana and just sign off and enjoy the Sunday. And that is completely great. It's a really great perk of being online that you don't have to like get dressed and leave. You can just click and be gone. But if you want to sit up, you can join me here for the last moment of class. We'll take a deep breath in, reach the arms up. Exhale. Hands come to the heart. Take a moment to acknowledge yourselves for creating this opportunity to practice together. And I want to thank you all individually and collectively. Thank you so much for this class and for the practice and your trust. Have a beautiful day, week, life, and afterlife. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you so much. It was really nice to see everyone. Hey, Anjali, nice haircut.
Oh gosh, thank you for bringing your 100% this morning. It was great.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for your emails. And a lot of you sent me some great messages and emails, and it's been nice to speak with you all. So thank you for the support and the help. Thank you, Liz, for helping me do all of the Google Forms thing. And thank you for following through with that. We're getting it together.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad it worked, Kai.
I am too. I was like, man, what the hell have I been doing for the last 6 months? I've been like...
And just the